degree was 38, and we were over to 36 any number of times. Took 14 days from San Francisco to the Aleutians. Now we'll leave the Aleutians and come back to the States. That was on a Navy ship, the USS Bell. That only took 7 days. Had a little bit of a leave, reported back to Fort Ethan Allen, and then to Newport News, Virginia. Newport News, we got on a troop ship. It was actually a cruise ship that was transformed to a troop ship. It was actually the Empress of Japan, but they renamed it the Empress of Scotland. This is what it looks like on a troop ship. You're in there like a bunch of sardines. Took us 9 days, unescorted, from Newport News to Casablanca. Casablanca, we boarded what they call 40 or 8. That's a railroad car that can accommodate 40 people or 8 horses. From Casablanca to Oran by the train. Oran, we got on some Navy ships and shipped to Naples, Italy. I was making a speech at Emmaus Historical Society, and the next morning I read the report. The reporter had us going from Oran to Naples, Italy by train. That's a little difficult to do. From Naples, we started our little taking of some hills in Italy, and then we got the job to take Naples-Foggia. That had a 3,000-foot cliff in the back of it on the one side. It took the British and the Americans 2,500 men, either wounded, lost, or killed. We took it in 6 hours. If you ever seen the movie The Devil's Brigade, this is very true to life. About 95% true. Our commanding officer, Colonel Fredericks, was on the set when it was made, so he didn't allow much Hollywood to get into it. If any of you were fortunate enough to see it, there was a bar fight in that, and the Canadians would have been discharged had they been in a fight. So at bar, the mountain men came in and started on the soldiers because they were kind of taking over the women. Well, the fight broke out, and they switched uniforms, so everybody got in the fight. I was not part of that. I hadn't joined until May, and that was back in December. The colonel, or commanding officer Fredericks docked everyone $1 a month from their pay to pay for the damage that they did in that bar. That's pretty rough. $1 a month. Let's see, we're at Montefiore. Our company was picked to be a supply group because we couldn't get people to supply us. And it took us close to 6 hours to go up by trail after the mountain was secured. The commanding officer sent down for supplies, and he ordered whiskey and condoms. We used the condoms to put over the rifle or the gun barrel so that it wouldn't get dirt or rain. From Naples-Foggia, we pulled back, had a couple days of rest, and then we went to Anzio. We were on Anzio 99 days with no way to take a shower or bath. We would take our shirt off and we'd scrape the collar with our combat knife. This is not the knife we carried. This is a replica. The knife we carried was sharp enough that we could shave. But when we were discharged, they confiscated the knives. From from Anzio, after the 99 days there, in June of '44, while on Anzio, we would go on patrol. We'd go through their lines and we'd leave a little something like this. That German bit on the side translates to "the worst is yet to come." That is where we got the name, the Devil's Brigade. We found a German officer diary, and he had it in this diary. They were here, we didn't see them, but we know they were here because they left their little whatever. We pushed out of Anzio. Took a couple more little mountains and towns, and on June 4th of 1944, we liberated Rome. And Rome is not listed on any calendar as being liberated. Normandy came on the 6th, 2 days later, and all the publicity evidently went to Normandy. So I've just recently composed a letter to my congressman and want to ask him why this liberation of Rome is not on the calendar. I don't know whether it'll do any good. That's a trouble. Once liberating Rome, we pulled back, a couple days rest, and then we made the invasion of southern France. There's the Aleutian Islands just off the coast, and reconnaissance showed that they had large cannons and pretty good artillery as a defense for the invasion. It turned out to be all mock-ups, but the Germans were there and we cleared the islands, and then we went inland, and it was on the French-Italian border that I picked up my little piece of shrapnel. And by the way, 2 years ago I was here speaking, and I lost that little piece of shrapnel. So if anybody finds it, it's worth a meal.
I know. Yeah.
That's a picture at the top. That's about the size of the piece of shrapnel. They took it out, it went in my shoulder, and they took it out on my back. I was in the hospital 10 days and then back on the line. We took a couple more little mountains, towns, and our group could no longer get volunteers. So those of us that were jumpers, and by the way, I forgot to tell you about that. My jump experience in Vermont was a platform about 9 feet in the air and a wall with a hole in it. So your commands were up to the platform, stand up, hook up, and go, and you just jumped into the sawdust or sand pit. We had just gotten into camp midnight on a Sunday, and Monday morning we were out doing a little bit of calisthenics and then up on the platform and blah, blah, blah. So Tuesday at around noon, we were going out the door of a plane. The first jump was real good, no problem. Second jump was what they called a cigarette roll. It just followed, didn't pop. So from the ground, they knew who was jumping in what spot. So they just said, Winzer, for your emergency. And you can hear them. No, just a normal voice. So I pulled my emergency, and needless to say, I beat everybody else down. Sorry for the mix-up, but when you get to be a couple years old, I kind of reflect and look back. So, our group was being disbanded, and those of us that were jumpers were sent to the 82nd Airborne and the 101st. I was fortunate, if you want to call it fortunate, enough to go to the Battle of the Bulge. While there, due to the fact that we were in so many different battles, my points added up rather fast, and I was designated to go home. Well, the officer in charge of that group wanted calisthenics and, stay in shape. I wasn't used to that. So I ended up with my little bit of Pennsylvania Dutch as an interpreter. Well, I didn't know what I was looking at, but that was a good job. I'd get up whenever I wanted to get up, go to the mess hall, have breakfast. My day was my own until company commander was from Texas. And he found out that there were some cavalry horses in the area. So he said, Winzer, go get 8 horses. Well, how I did it, I never know. But I came back with 8 horses. Well, being a horseman, we had to go for a ride. And these horses follow each other. So he started jumping hedgerows. And so you kind of know where I was. The horse was down and I was up, whatever. But it was a good job. Well, then they moved me to another camp to prepare for going home. And there again, they wanted calisthenics, keep in shape. I went to the cook, mess sergeant, and I said, how do you guys work? Well, we have a day on and day off, day on, day off. I said, can you split the group and we'll make it 2 days off and 1? So sure enough, matter of fact, the cook happened to be from Reading. Matter of fact, we split and I became a cook. So I was a cook until I was scheduled to board, ship in the Havre and come home in September of '45. There's a number of things that I've probably forgotten, but I can give you a little insight as to going to different schools and speaking. I spoke at a school down in Doylestown. I made 2 speeches before lunch, and the teacher said, are you ready? You want to go home? I had nothing to do with you. Well, I lined up 2 more classes. So during the time on. So I ended up with the speaking at 4 different classes, about 180 students. And it turned out that I had a companion for 27 years. And her great-great-granddaughter was in one of the classes. About 2 weeks after I spoke there, I got a package in the mail. It had 2 t-shirts with the Lenape Middle School logo, and a couple of pictures, and a sheet of paper with comments from the students. And the one that stands out the most is his presentation was really well done. I was really impressed. I learned a lot. But I was kind of surprised at how well he spoke at his old age. Anonymous. That is what makes this all worthwhile. The teacher at that time said, I've never had kids so quiet. And they were great, asking questions. People consider me a hero. I'm just a guy next door. Any one of us here is a hero in their own right. They all have someone that they look up to and respect. in that regard, I say we're all good. So, any questions?